I want you to imagine something for just a second here. Imagine you've spent years, I mean, we're talking blood, sweat, and just a frankly ridiculous number of weekend open houses, building a highly successful business from the absolute ground up.
Oh yeah, the classic real estate hustle.
Exactly. And, you've hit the dream. You are bringing in a stellar six-figure gross income. Your friends are impressed. Your family is proud. But then, usually late at night while you're just staring at your phone, you realize you are completely trapped on a hamster wheel.
Yeah, that is a very real moment.
Right. With absolute certainty that the exact second you stop running, all that money just instantly disappears.
It is a really sobering realization. And honestly, it happens to almost every top producer eventually. It's the moment these incredibly talented professionals realize they haven't actually built a business at all.
What have they built then?
They've built a very high-paying, very demanding job. And in the real estate industry, I mean, this is practically a rite of passage.
Yeah, for sure.
We are so conditioned to celebrate the glossy marketing, the just sold signs, the massive commission checks on social media. But we rarely stop to examine the underlying mechanics that enforce that hamster wheel in the first place.
Well, we are stripping away that glossy marketing today. For this deep dive, we are analyzing the pure, unvarnished mechanics of the IAD real estate business model.
It's a fascinating model to break down, too.
It really is. So whether you are a seasoned agent who feels the speed of that hamster wheel increasing, or maybe you're someone studying for your real estate license, or just, a listener who is fascinated by disruptive business architecture, we're breaking down how modern structures are attempting to dismantle the oldest, most stubborn problems in real estate.
Right, getting right into the weeds.
Exactly. We are looking at the math behind the 80-20 commission splits, the actual economics of their flat $99 fee, and the real architecture of their 5-level revenue share.
And, to really evaluate whether IAD's solution actually works, you have to relentlessly define the problem they are trying to solve first.
Which is what, exactly?
Well, the entire platform is engineered to attack what the industry calls the income ceiling. And that ceiling isn't just like one single barrier. It's an invisible limitation built right into the concrete foundation of the legacy real estate model.
Okay, so let's pull that foundation apart for a second. The most obvious limitation is it's physics, right? The time limitation track.
So that's totally linear.
Right. Traditional real estate operates on a strictly linear earning model. The system strictly rewards personal production, which means if you want to increase your income, you just have to sell more houses.
Sell more, work more.
Yeah, but no matter how incredibly skilled you are or how vast your personal network grows, there is still only one of you. I mean, eventually you just run out of hours in the week to show houses, draft contracts, and negotiate deals.
You literally hit a wall where your income is entirely tethered to your physical availability. And in a world that increasingly demands exponential leverage to build real wealth, agents are just stuck trading time for dollars.
Exhaust.
It is. When your capacity maxes out, growth actually becomes a penalty. It gets harder to manage the volume, not easier. The business begins to own you instead of serving you because you literally cannot scale yourself.
It's kind of like being on a financial treadmill. The more successful you get, the faster the treadmill goes. You feel great because, hey, you're moving fast, but you can never actually step off to catch your breath without being violently thrown out of the gym entirely.
That is the perfect analogy. And while you're sprinting on that treadmill, the gym owner just keeps reaching into your pockets.
Ah, yes. The rising cost problem.
Right. It's the massive gap between gross and net income that often just shocks people when they finally sit down and look at their tax returns.
I mean, the public hears these massive numbers, right? Like an agent grossing $150,000 a year, and everyone just assumes that agent is wealthy.
Oh, totally.
But they don't see the death by 1,000 cuts happening behind the scenes.
And that is exactly where the legacy model profits. Traditional overhead is just relentless. I mean, you have a desk fee just to sit in the brokerage office.
Right.
You have a separate technology fee for your software, a transaction fee every time you close a deal, your own personal marketing costs, and things like errors and omissions insurance.
Which you have to have.
Yeah, it's a mandatory liability coverage you have to carry just in case a deal goes sideways. Every single one of those fees chips away at that commission check before it ever even sniffs your personal checking account.
So you are working harder and harder to hit that physical ceiling we just talked about, but you're keeping less and less of the actual value you generate.
Exactly.
And if the time limitation and the rising costs weren't enough, there is a massive blind spot that gives a lot of independent contractors night sweats. And that's the retirement gap.
This is the big one.
Yeah. If you are a standard corporate employee listening to this, and you get a W-2 tax form every year, you usually have some kind of safety net quietly building up in the background, like, a pension, a 401k match, maybe some company stock options.
The company is essentially helping you build your exit strategy.
Right. But in traditional real estate, there is no corporate matching. There is no pension.
None. Zero.
If you are an agent and you decide you want to stop selling tomorrow, maybe you want to retire or you want to travel or heaven forbid, you get sick and physically cannot work, your income drops to zero instantly.
It just vanishes. You could spend 30 years building a massive, highly curated contact database. But the fundamental flaw of the legacy model is that the moment you stop dialing the numbers in that database, it completely stops paying you.
So if the legacy model actively punishes success by scaling your costs and offering zero exit strategy, a disruptor can't just come in and offer, slightly better software.
No, not at all.
They have to completely re-engineer the profit margins. So how does IAD actually restructure where the money goes on day one without instantly going bankrupt?
Well, it requires zooming out to the macro level first. IED is not, they aren't some venture capital startup burning cash to figure things out on the fly.
Right, they've been around a while.
Exactly. This specific architectural model was founded in France back in 2008. So it has grown into this massive independent network with over 21,000 agents operating across 8 different countries.
Wow, 21,000.
Yeah. They're in France, Spain, Portugal, Germany, Italy, Mexico, the UK, and they are now launching in the United States.
With Florida as their initial entry market for the U.S., which presents a pretty unique situation for agents down there.
It really does.
Usually, you either join a brand new startup and take on a ton of risk, or you join a legacy giant where the market is entirely saturated. But entering Florida means you get this ground floor opportunity in a new territory, but it's backed by a proven global infrastructure.
And that global infrastructure is honestly the only reason the microeconomics work for the individual agent. When an agent joins IAD, the foundational offering is an 80-20 commission split.
Okay, so the agent keeps 80% of the commission.
Yes. But the crucial part isn't just the split itself. It's the total elimination of those 1,000 cuts we discussed earlier. The brokerage doesn't tack on random desk fees or franchise fees.
Okay, wait, I need to stop you right there because I'm looking at the core offering in our sources, and I have to push back on the math here a bit.
Sure, go ahead.
They charge a flat $99 monthly fee. And for that $99, they provide enterprise-level tools. We're talking an Agent Fire website, SkySlope for transaction management, and Follow-Up Boss for their customer relationship management.
Yep, that's their tech stack.
I know what these platforms cost retail. Follow-Up Boss alone can run a solo agent over $100 a month easily. Agent Fire isn't cheap either. So how is IAD bundling all of this for $99 a month without hiding a fee somewhere else to cover their losses?
It's a fair question, and you're right to be skeptical because we are so conditioned by legacy brokerages to look for the catch.
Yeah, exactly. There's always a catch.
But the math works because of that international scale and a completely different structural philosophy. Because IAD operates a network of over 21,000 agents globally, they possess incredible purchasing power.
Oh, I see.
They aren't paying retail for Follow-Up Boss. They negotiate massive, massive enterprise rates.
Okay, so they get a bulk discount, sure. But legacy brokerages get bulk discounts too, and they still charge their agents hundreds of dollars in tech fees.
Right, but that's because legacy brokerages often treat their own agents as a profit center.
Oh, wow, yeah.
They secure the software at a discount, mark it up, and then sell it back to the agent to cover the massive overhead of their brick-and-mortar offices. IAD doesn't have massive commercial real estate leases. They are a completely cloud-based network.
So they just pass the savings along.
Exactly. They pass those enterprise tools through to the agent at that flat $99 rate because their philosophy is different. They believe that if you equip an agent with the absolute best tools in the industry at the lowest possible cost, that agent will sell more houses.
Which makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
So IAD benefits from the increased volume on their 20% side of the split rather than trying to, Squeeze a few extra bucks out of the agent's monthly software subscription.
It's an alignment of incentives instead of an adversarial relationship. I love that. The brokerage only makes real money if the agent is actually selling real estate.
Exactly.
And that brings up another massive shift I noticed in their structure. In the legacy model, you're constantly wearing the brokerage's name tag. It feels like you're a driver for a taxi company just building their brand equity.
Yeah, you're basically a walking billboard for the corporate brand.
But the IAD structure sounds more like using Shopify. Shopify provides all the back-end plumbing, the cart, the checkout software, the server stability, but the customer only ever sees your boutique's name. You own the brand.
That captures the dynamic perfectly. Look, if you are an agent, your personal brand is the most valuable asset you will ever cultivate.
100%.
When a past client refers their neighbor to you, they aren't saying, you have to use Corporate Real Estate Brokerage LLC. They're saying, you have to use Sarah. She's amazing.
Right.
IAD acts as the licensed brokerage for compliance, legal support, and the tech infrastructure. But your marketing, your website, your social media, it is entirely focused on your brand. You are building equity in your own name.
Okay, so keeping 80% of your commission,
Yeah.
dropping your overhead to a very predictable $99, and owning your own brand equity. I mean, that clearly solves the rising cost problem.
It does.
But if I get sick or if I want to retire, I'm still not making any money. The treadmill's still there. I'm just wearing much nicer running shoes.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Slashing overhead doesn't create residual income. To solve the retirement gap, we really have to look at the engine that drives IAD's long-term wealth strategy, which is revenue share.
Okay, let's get into this.
And we need to dissect this carefully, because the moment the industry hears terms like revenue share or sponsorship, a lot of mental walls go up. And honestly, it's based on some terrible past experiences with other companies.
Well, let's lay out the core concept first before we get into the psychology of it. Revenue share works like this. If you introduce another agent to IAD and that agent goes out and closes a real estate transaction, the brokerage shares a percentage of that gross commission with you.
Correct.
But here is the critical question, and I really want you listening to pay attention to this mechanism. Where does that money actually come from? Because if I bring an agent in and they have to give me part of their check, well, that completely breaks the 80-20 split we literally just talked about.
And this is the linchpin of the entire model right here. The money paid to you in revenue share does not come out of the producing agent's pocket.
Not at all.
Not a single cent. It does not reduce their income by a dime.
Yeah.
They keep their full 80% no matter what.
Wow.
The revenue share comes exclusively out of IAD's 20% portion of the split.
Okay, so wait. IAD is taking a piece of its own corporate profit margin and redirecting it to you.
Yes, exactly. They are essentially saying, hey, thank you for helping us grow the company. Instead of us spending millions of dollars on corporate recruiters and massive billboard advertising, we are just going to take that marketing budget and pay it directly to the agents who are actually bringing talent through the doors.
Okay, so it's not a pyramid scheme where money just funnels up from the bottom. It's actually more like a perpetual corporate headhunter fee.
Yes, that's a great way to put it.
Like if you find a great employee for a standard tech company, they might give you a one-time bonus of, I don't know, $5,000. But IAD is effectively giving you a sliver of their own profit margin from that agent's work forever, as long as they are producing.
And the word producing is the key that really shatters the biggest myths surrounding this model. Because when people hear about tiers or networks, they immediately think of multi-level marketing.
Oh, yeah. MLM is practically a dirty word. I mean, people think of predatory structures, buying garages full of essential oils or leggings, and just annoying their friends on Facebook.
Exactly. But in a traditional multi-level marketing scheme, the company actually profits off the participants themselves.
Right.
Participants usually have to purchase inventory themselves. They have to hit these arbitrary monthly purchase quotas just to stay active, and they pay heavy administrative fees to even participate in the compensation plan. Basically, the money moves because people are buying the right to participate.
Which is so toxic.
Right, but at IAD, none of those mechanisms exist. There are no inventory purchases, there are no monthly quotas, there are absolutely no fees to participate in the revenue share.
Wait, so you don't earn a dime just for recruiting someone?
Not a single cent. You only earn revenue share if the agent you sponsor actually goes out into the real world, helps a consumer buy or sell a house, and generates a real estate commission.
Yeah.
It is purely tied to real-world production. IAD makes its money from the end consumer buying real estate, not from the agents joining the network.
That is a huge distinction.
It is. And furthermore, participating in this is entirely optional. An agent can join IAD, pay their $99 for the tech, take their 80-20 split, focus solely on selling houses, and never sponsor a single person. They are treated exactly the same.
Okay, now that we've isolated that revenue share is basically just a slice of the brokerage's own profit, how does it actually scale? Let's walk through the actual math of the 5-level structure.
Okay, let's do it.
If I bring someone in, what does that translate to in percentages?
So IAD organizes this into 5 levels. Level 1 consists of the agents you personally and directly introduce to the company. When a Level 1 agent closes a deal, you receive 7% of their gross commission income.
7%? Wow, okay.
Yeah. And then Level 2 are the agents that your Level 1 agents introduce. For them, you receive 3%. Then Level 3 drops to 1.5%. Level 4 is 0.5%. And Level 5 is 0.2%.
Okay, wait, why does it taper off so dramatically? Going from 7% all the way down to 0.2% is a pretty steep drop. Why wouldn't it just be, I don't know, an even distribution across the board?
Well, the taper is deeply intentional, both for financial sustainability and, frankly, behavioral psychology. By heavily weighting Level 1 at 7%, the model inherently incentivizes you to directly mentor and support the people you personally bring in.
Oh, that makes total sense.
Right. Because if I bring you into the company, I want you to succeed. I'm going to answer your calls, I'm going to help you with difficult contracts, and I'll share my marketing strategies because your success directly impacts my revenue share.
It creates a culture of localized mentorship.
Exactly. And then the smaller percentages on the deeper levels just allow you to benefit from the network's organic growth without, bankrupting the corporate 20% margin that actually funds the whole system.
And looking at the structure here, there doesn't seem to be the typical corporate red tape. I mean, in a lot of franchise models that offer profit sharing, they put up massive hurdles.
Oh, tons of hoops to jump through.
Right. You have to unlock your tiers by hitting crazy personal sales quotas, or the revenue share gets capped, or everything just magically resets to 0 on January 1st and you have to start all over again.
Yeah, IAD totally removed those friction points. There are no levels to unlock based on arbitrary metrics. There are no personal production requirements you must hit just to collect your revenue share.
That's refreshing.
Yeah, there are no earning caps and there are no annual resets. The network you build belongs to you, and it just compounds year after year.
All right, let's put some real-world math to this because percentages can feel a bit abstract. Say you build this network over time and you end up with a modestly sized group of 15 active producing agents on your Level 1.
Okay, 15 agents.
And let's say they are doing pretty well, each averaging about $80,000 in annual gross commission income.
Very realistic number.
So just from those 15 agents on your Level 1, that 7% generates $84,000 a year in revenue share for you.
$84,000 a year. Let that sink in. That is recurring income arriving monthly, running completely parallel to your own personal real estate sales.
It completely changes your financial baseline.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And importantly, that math doesn't even factor in anyone those 15 agents might invite on your levels 2 through 5.
True, but let me ask you the obvious question here because I'm sure listeners are thinking it.
Go for it.
The math sounds incredible on paper, but introducing 15 successful producing agents to a brokerage sounds like a second full-time job.
It does sound like a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I am already working 50 hours a week selling houses, managing clients, and negotiating inspections. Is this actually realistic for a solo agent, or is this revenue share model secretly designed only for mega team leaders who already have huge platforms and massive influence?
Well, look, if you try to recruit 15 agents in 6 months, yes, you will fail because that is a full-time recruiting job.
Right.
The mistake people make is looking at this on a micro timeline. Most agents plan to be in this career for 10, 15, or 20 years.
Yeah.
If you just casually and naturally introduce just 1 or 2 agents a year to the model.
Just 1 or 2 a year?
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's the agent on the other side of a difficult transaction who loved how smooth your SkySlope system was.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's someone you meet at a networking event who is complaining about their massive desk fees.
Okay. Yeah, that happens all the time.
Right. And over a decade, you have organically built that Level 1 network. It compounds naturally through daily relationship building, not high pressure, boiler room recruiting.
It's just slightly adjusting your daily habits to share the architecture you are already using anyway.
Exactly.
And there is a massive geographic twist to how you can build this network at IAD. We talked earlier about how they're operating in 8 different countries.
Mhm.
Usually, real estate is hyper-local. You only network with agents in your specific city.
Right, because that's all you know.
So how does a global footprint actually benefit an agent sitting in Florida?
Well, because in a decentralized, cloud-based infrastructure, physical borders no longer dictate your business potential. Your revenue share network is not limited by geography. A local agent in Florida can sponsor an agent in Spain, Portugal, the UK, or Mexico.
Wait, really? So if I have like a cousin in Germany who works in real estate, I can introduce her to IAD Germany.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when she sells a flat in Berlin, you earn revenue share in Florida, paid out of the brokerage's margin on that German transaction.
That is wild.
It really turns a local real estate license into a global business asset. Plus, it creates a massive inbound referral ecosystem.
Oh, I didn't even think about referrals.
Yeah. If an IAD agent in Mexico City has a wealthy client looking to buy a vacation condo in Miami, they're going to look internally within the IAD network to refer that client because they know the systems and they know the culture.
So you are suddenly tapping into international deal flow without ever leaving your zip code. So, synthesizing everything we've pulled apart today. We started by examining the traditional trap, right? The exhausting reality of building a contact database that requires constant physical effort and the terrifying knowledge that it just stops paying the second you stop dialing.
Yeah, the hamster wheel. And the core paradigm shift here is the transition from building a contact database to building a revenue share network.
Right.
A database requires you to be continuously present, but a revenue share network continues to produce income while you are on vacation,
Yeah.
while you are recovering from an illness, or while you are actively transitioning into retirement.
It leverages the relationships you build over a career into an actual scalable asset.
Exactly.
It fundamentally changes the trajectory of a real estate career from a purely transactional hustle into long-term wealth architecture. I mean, you retain your brand equity, you drop your overhead with that predictable $99 tech stack, and you participate in the company's global revenue without ever having to act as a corporate manager or lease office space.
Yeah. It finally allows the agent to step off the financial treadmill and actually own a piece of the gym.
I love that. Which leaves us with a pretty fascinating thought to end on for those of you listening.
Yeah, let's hear it.
We've seen how powerful this decentralized agent-first model is for the individual. But if you zoom out and look at the broader industry, if a business model exists that allows an agent to keep their personal branding front and center, drastically lower their overhead, and build an international retirement stream, what happens to the legacy brick-and-mortar brokerages over the next decade?
That is the million-dollar question.
Right. If the agent is the brand and the software is fully decentralized, will traditional corporate real estate brokerages even exist in their current form 20 years from now?
Well, evolution is ruthless. The business models that survive are the ones that fundamentally adapt to serve the creator of the value. And in real estate, the agent is the creator of the value.
Absolutely. Well, it's definitely something to mull over as you navigate the architecture of your own business. Until next time, keep questioning the mechanics of the treadmill.